Good afternoon and welcome to the Ken Nickel Arena here in Beaumont, Alberta, just south of the capital of Edmonton. I'm Zachary Kubish. Thank you so much for joining us here on CROW LAX TV. Here today we got a Senior B matchup between the Beaumont Outlaws as they play host to the Rockyview Knights. Hit subscribe if you haven't already and hit that notification button to get a notification anytime we go live here on CROW LAX. There's 5 games here today on our service, all free on YouTube. We have an Alberta Series Lacrosse Miners at Fort Sask, Rebels crewed against the Titans as well. Rampage at Rebels and the Warriors and Silvertips. Of course, this game to round things out, the 5 matches that we have here today. But for the Outlaws here in the game, number 80, Scott Cavalinis will get the start in between the pipes. His opposing netminders, number 1, Carson Wells here on the day. And staying with the Knights in Rockyview, they're 3-3 on the season, 6 points on the scoreboard in the Senior B division, second in the division, 113 penalty minutes, second most. And they have a -4 goal differential. Everybody but the Miners in the Senior B division have a negative goal differential. Miners plus 34 on the season. And yesterday, the Knights had a 13-9 win against the Rebels. And on the 4th, they won 9-8 against the Mounties. They're on a 2-game winning streak. While for the Outlaws, they're 2-3 on the season. All 3 losses coming from the Miners. They lost yesterday 9-6 as we get action underway here in the first period. The Outlaws control right off the face-off. McCann was creating and he handed it off to Nielsen, who storms in towards the net. Couldn't get a clean shot off that he wanted to. He picks it up once again as they start to cycle around the zone. It's wheeled up the left side, pass back to Royer to the right end on the wall. Number 94 is pressured. Sandberg had to defer. Gets thrown towards the net, bounces all the way back, top of the zone now. It's passed aside. Across the floor. Number 8 for the Outlaws. Left side once again. They play catch this time. Sandberg is the one to collect. Bounced off the floor, still maintaining possession, under 10 seconds in the shot clock, but it's able to be fed through. And the Outlaws are up 1-0 early in the contest. Sebastian Simonson getting Beaumont on the board, just 55 seconds into the contest, 1-0 for the Outlaws. And this is the first of 3 games against this season that they will play. The next game for both of these clubs are against one another once again on the 15th, the Pete King Arena. So draped in the red and white, a quick shot from number 78, fiery hot James Johnston with his 15th goal on the season, ties it up at 1. Just 8 seconds after the Outlaws open the scoring, James Johnston extends his goal lead in the Senior B division. As I said, 15 goals. He was tied 3rd in scoring entering this contest with 22 points. Make that 23 as he finds the back of the net once again. So a quick response from Rockyview as it's turned back by the Outlaws. A quick pass in front, chance right there, great stop in between the pipes by Wells. So the Outlaws maintain possession with that shot. Stewart handing off Rye. Now he gets it to Simonson, who had that first marker, number 88, throwing it through. Back across, Simonson from behind the net, trying to make that jumping play. Nifty try and towards the cage. That's no good, as it's Rockyview now trying to work it up out of their zone. They get pressured with the pass up through transition. Gets caught aside. Outlaws. Simonson regains. Great pass in front there. Can't get the shot off. 15 seconds left on the shot clock as it's worked up aside the boards on the near side. pinned against the wall. Hops out off the floor and dribbles into the hands of number 23, Berg, who has that stolen away from him. Dewart, good play there. Beaumont works it back up. Royer is the one to take it. Hands it off now, number 88. It's Forgrave. Possession handed over to Rockyview. So far side 71 gets to help work it up the floor. Passed out top of the 24-footer. Another try there. But back up the floor are the Outlaws. Quickly now. Quick passing plays no good. Ends up in the far corner. But fished out from there, number 73, McCann, I believe that was. That's 94, Sandberg with the ball. Tried to make a pass through, bounces back to him. There's Tokar there as well. Simonson was on that right side of the net trying to receive that pass. That evades him, and the Knights get possession once again. McRae quickly trying to feed it to the corner, trying to work something in the offensive zone. The Knights scoring off the rush. Haven't really generated much so far in the early going of this first period. 16:20 left to go in this first frame. 1-1 here, and a heavy hit thrown against the wall. Slow to get up as a member of the Outlaws, but now the Knights work it back up. Still behind the play, trouble getting up, and hobbling to the bench is Dewart a little bit in discomfort. So Beaumont has to play on the defense, and Knights trying to start something in the offensive end of action. Tisdale turning away from pressure. Quick chance up the middle, cutting through defenders, and he finds the back of the net. James Johnston with two, making it 2-1 for Rockyview. So number 78 firing on all cylinders here today. Quick offensive chances from him and cutting through about 3 or 4 bodies from Beaumont there. To get his second of the game, 16th goal on the season. And he answered back just 8 seconds with the Outlaws taking the lead, but it's a 2-goal run for the Knights. So rolls back out. Johnston has it. Maintains, surveys, tries to work his way, carving in past defenders. Couple swats at the ball. Gets picked up by Baldock. Baldock swings aside in towards the wall. His teammate does that as well, and Forgrave. Possession still held on for the Outlaws. This play commences once again. Forgrave back to the top of the zone. Simonson gets it to that left side. Royer tries to make the pass, has to turn away and gets thrown down by Stegerman. The ball ended up, I think, hopping over the penalty benches. Right in front of us here as we broadcast from the Ken Nickel Arena. It's 2-1 for the Knights as they get set up in the offensive zone once again. Janicek tried to make something happen, though they were pushed back. Rockyview, they have a chance to work it up once again from the dotted lines. Tisdale trying to get that shot off. He had the assist on that second marker from James Johnston, who has 2 in the game already. 14:30 left going here in this first period. Beaumont creating a drive in towards the net. Hard to the hole. It's number 50 or 47, I believe that was Rye, as he circles around the zone. Simonson trying to make a pass across. Ryan behind the net, but it pops up once again. This is Forgrave. Ethan Forgrave, the high lofting pass to the hands of Rye. Dalen Rye. Scooped up from Sandberg. Forgrave is forced out to the wall. He cuts through the defenders. Throw right on. It's 2-2. Forgrave getting on the board for Beaumont. Number 88, Ethan Forgrave, was second in the league in points entering this contest. One back from Bowen, so would be tying him as well. Second in goals. 13th goal on the season, 13 assists, so 26 points now for Ethan Forgrave in this campaign. And the highly offensive players from both sides have made their impact early in the contest, tied 2-2 with 13:47 to go. And Beaumont looks to be getting a man advantage. Number 7, Jacob Berg for the Knights, heading into the penalty box. So we see our first power play opportunity here in the contest. Some discussion between the referees, the officials calling this game. As they signify a trip the center of the floor. So we'll be 5-on-4, man up for 2 minutes on the trip. Jacob Berg to the box for the Knights, and maybe the Outlaws can regain their lead in the game. Quick passing play. Simonson has a chance, trying to feed it in midway upside the net on that right side, sneaking past the goaltender Wells, who cut off that angle. Now the Knights man down, dropping his stick. Held back up the other way once again, Nielsen. I think that's another call. This time it's going to the Outlaws. Number 66, Steven Nielsen, effectively ending the power play for Beaumont. Just 1:25 left, so it will be minute and 25 seconds. 4-on-4, 35-second differential in the two penalty markers that we've seen here. So an abbreviated power play will commence for the Knights. So they have some more room on the floor, less players out there. Trying to get a lane is number 13, Norris, who swung that one just wide. Another regain there. Thrown hard to the floor was Tisdale. And another chance from 13, Norris, being denied by Cavalinis. One off the wall. It's Green. Turning away. Finds a man. He goes off for the change. Number 53, Josh Dewart with possession. Gets it to Joseph Royer. Now 94 trying to shimmy shake his way into the crease. I think his foot was there, though he did get the shot on. Sandberg with the opportunity. Royer hands it off to Dewart. Swung back aside. Dewart bobbles the ball and takes a huge hit to the boards. Back turned away from his opposition, though he looks fine once he gets up, and shaking his head all the way to the penalty box, Jake Steigerman. So it was a 35.5-second differential in between those two initial penalties. So it was 4-on-4. Now it will be 5-on-3. But refs have to blow down the whistle because some miscommunication on the scoreboard. So 20 seconds left in that initial penalty taken by Jacob Berg. He will step out of the box after 20 seconds. 12:07 left on the board. The new penalty handed to Jake Steigerman. And still sitting in the box for the Outlaws is Steven Nielsen. So that's the story right now as it's tied 2-2. Outlaws opening the scoring in the game. 2-goal run by the Knights, striking back just 8 seconds after that initial marker. James Johnston getting up on the board, and then returning the favor, Ethan Forgrave with his 13th goal of the season. James Johnston still holding that top spot, already 2 goals in the game. As I mentioned previous to this, as we sort things out here, the shots are in favor of the home squad here in Beaumont, 8-3 over the Knights. And finally, we resume action here from the Ken Nickel Arena. And another whistle now blown down. Perhaps some continued miscommunication, though the clock is ran down to 12:02. So now they'll have to recoup all the times. And, of course, being a referee is a really hard job in the sport. I don't think they get enough credit being out there on the floor, trying to make calls through screens. You're also being screened if you're trying to call a penalty as well. You got to keep track of the time. There's a score clock and all the penalty markers to make sure it's an even playing field for both of the teams out in the game. You don't want to give an advantage to anybody. You want to do your job right, and refs do make the mistakes from time to time. I mean, they are human. They're not machines. Maybe one day they'll be taken over by AI or something like that. I know in baseball they're wanting to add robot umpires perhaps, but we get it sorted out continually here. It's just 2-2 Beaumont against Rockyview. So entering the game, the Knights are 3-3, 6 points second in the Senior B division. 2-3 are the Outlaws. All of their losses coming from the Miners, by the way. They still have one more contest against them, but they had a back-to-back at one point. The Outlaws, both of these teams actually playing yesterday. Outlaws suffering a 9-6 loss against the Miners. That was a tight one, but the Outlaws were undisciplined a little bit and took a few penalties. There was a major penalty in that game as well, which gave the edge to the Miners. And for the Knights, they're on a 2-game win streak. On the 4th, they won 9-8 against the Mounties, and it was a 13-9 win against the Rebels on the 7th yesterday. Make sure, if you haven't already, by the way, to follow CROW LAX TV on any of our social media platforms. We're there with news, updates, highlights of all the games, all the scores that go down. 5 games are being broadcasted here on our YouTube channel completely free of charge, so you can view any of those games that you like, and this is just one of the 5 going on here today. We have multiple games throughout the entire league broadcasted each week, so make sure you follow for that. And Mohammed Joma and Keenan also have you covered for the Junior Beast podcast. You can get that on our YouTube channel as well. Once weekly podcast to give updates throughout the entire Rocky Mountain Lacrosse League. And just an updated scoreboard here as before the contest went underway, Bowden from the Miners held the charge in points scored. Forgrave right behind him. He had 25 entering the game. Now he has 26. Bowen had 26 as well. James Johnston now has 24 points, 16 goals. Only one of those coming on the power play, by the way, but 8 assists for Johnston here in this game. So 2 highly offensive players going head-to-head in this contest from either side, as we're still awaiting some things to be figured out here in the score box. That's the reason for the stoppage in play. And I would like to mention that the Battle of the Border is back this September in Missoula, Montana. Tour the beautiful University of Montana campus. Learn about the Grizz LAX program and full ride scholarships available for Canadians, all while taking part in the annual North versus South Box Lacrosse Tournament. Learn more today by following them on Instagram at Battle of the Border LAX. And finally, we resume play. That felt like a whole intermission as we continue action here. Quick chance from Forgrave, right side, just going wide over top of the net. That whistles into the hands of number 47, Rye. Quick passing play made. It's 4-4 continued here, and it trickles in the back of the net. The Outlaws 3-2. And maybe giving a break to their top offensive players as things got sorted out was a positive thing. The scoreboard here is still being updated, 11:34 left to go, so Outlaws regained the lead. They scored the opening goal in the game, then the Knights scored 2. They tied it back up, did Beaumont, and now they regained the lead once again. They only held it for 8 seconds here in the game, so they continue that as there's some yelling from the Knights bench. The Rockyview bench not too happy with what's going on. So just a brief history on the last 10 years or so for these clubs. The Rockyview Knights getting silver in 2017 in the provincial championships. They then won in 2015, getting gold. And the Edmonton Outlaws at the time, back in 2013, won silver in the 2013 Alberta championships, while Rockyview also picked up gold in 2012. I apologize for the delay here as we're getting things sorted out down on the playing level. Honestly, not too sure what's going on here, but we are awaiting another face-off, and it seems like we're just waiting for a helmet repair for Wells. I mean, with all the breaks that we had, I'm actually not too sure exactly what it would have been. It is Carson Wells getting a helmet repair. Of course, probably the most important protective piece of equipment for a goaltender. You want to protect your head as much as you can, especially in a sport as physical as lacrosse. Fun fact, though, Wayne Gretzky, when he was younger, he played lacrosse, and he had a story saying, you know, he played it growing up, and of course he played hockey too. I mean, he had a pretty good career, let's say. You know, playing hockey, might have won a couple championships here near this Beaumont area up in Edmonton, but he said it was too physical for him, so he stopped playing. I assume, you know, it's box lacrosse. Of course, here in Canada, lots of box lacrosse action. But I feel like there would be a lot of carryover in between the two sports. You know, you have to control the balls quite well. There's a lot of hand-eye coordination that goes with lacrosse, and you have to have a high IQ to try and make plays, especially if you're an offensive player as well. I mean, checking is a huge thing too, so there are some similarities in both sports. But for those viewing who have, you know, experience in both, is there anything that you could really take in the sport of lacrosse and carry it over into hockey, or vice versa? Because, you know, lacrosse is Canada's national sport, though it's less appreciated than, I guess, the more popular sport that is ice hockey. So the helmet situation still getting sorted out here. We will take a brief break and be back for more action to We appreciate your patience as we continue action here. We're still in the first period of play. It felt like there was a whole intermission. 11:34 left to go. 2-2 is the score. Outlaws against the Knights. Carson Wells had to have some maintenance on his helmet, but it seems to be good now. The Knights, each team freshly rested, having a chance here, and thrown right towards the boards was James Johnston, having both goals in the game for Rockyview. Johnston with it again, hard whipping shot. Trails wide past the net. It's Needham. Needham hands it off to Forgrave, who also has a goal. He defers to number 51. Now Dewart has it. Rye. Back and forth. Continue to pass as it's a abbreviated power play for the Outlaws. Possession handed over to Rockyview. So into the hands of Berg. Now charging towards the net. That's denied. Wallace McRae with that opportunity. And Cavallines in between the pipes for Beaumont. So Royer controlling. He gets it back. Had an open chance for a second. Good lane blockage by Rockyview. Didn't like the opportunity he saw. 5-on-5 continues. It's Steegman out of the box, and what a cross crease save from Carson Wells. Forgrave from the top of the zone trying to be the open man for the pass. Royer has to chase back for the ball, but that's leaving over and back. Now they get the media timeout. I mean, it felt like there might have been one already, but it's well-deserved. Couple long intermissions here, but I'd like to remind you that the Battle of the Border is back this September in Missoula, Montana. You can tour their beautiful University of Montana campus, learn about the Grizz LAX program. There's full-ride scholarships available as well. You can take part in the annual North versus South box lacrosse tournament down there too. So all the exciting information on that event, you can find that all out at Battle of the Border LAX on Instagram. Follow CROW LAX TV on any social media platforms as well. Play continues here with 2 goals. It was Johnston trying to make the feed to the corner, top of the dotted line. It's thrown through and seen all the way by Cavallines. Across the floor. Now Simonson arching that one back to the hands of Morris. He hands it off, goes for a change. Dewart has it, plays pass with Rye. Rye top of the zone, gets it to the right side. Simonson spinning away from pressure, has a shot, shoots down low, and good stop, rebound there. Shot clock renewed. Quick play made to the top dotted line once again. Quick passing action here from the Outlaws as they filter around the zone. The cycle continues. One shot finally thrown towards the cage. That gets tossed back up to the solid line once again. So Simonson sees a step. Backhand pass, trying to chop that up from the floor while falling. I believe that was Dalen Rye with that opportunity. Denial by Wells. So the Knights stop up, take a second. Tisdale with the spin, 360. Still maintains, gets it to 17. Janicek works in towards the net, now to the corner, but the shot's thrown towards the screen by Cook. Behind the net, but it's Rockyview unable to get a shot on and renew that 30-second shot clock. McCann is the man to hand it up. Number 94, Sandberg, hands it to Simonson. He returns that favor, gets it back to Forgrave. Forgrave hops up towards the zone, high bounce. to the hands of 94 Sevior. Sevior with the pass up to the right side. 71 goes to hand it off. McRae now has it. Had the chance for shot just for a second. Good stick by Walker in front. Quick chance off the right shoulder. Battle in front of the crease. Another chance here from the Knights. Denial by Cavalinas. Goes scampering up the zone. Needham all by himself. Grounder out to Simonson. To Rye. Back to the near wall. Corners worked up the zone. Rye. Luke Royer, my apologies. Simonson. Thrown through to the middle, no good. Luke Royer has it and swung down deep into Knights territory. So Outlaws to make the change. Rockyview to take possession. Isaac Tisdale takes a quick step. Swings out to the corner. Shot off the back wall, back into Outlaws gain. So now swinging back is Burgundy. Royer, fake pass. Joseph Royer deferring. Rye, Foregrave underhand scoop. Perhaps a shot attempt from Simonson off the ground, hits the ceiling, and now a quick charge from the Knights. Thrown right through, heavy shot, just missing the 4x4 cage, and now it's Foregrave with it. He hands it off to left side, cuts to the middle. Foregrave was open, it's picked off, and now potential 2-on-1 was there, but the short change from the bench by the Outlaws maintains defensive positioning. Now hard to the hole, number 78, Johnson, 2 goals in the game, fiery hot on the season. Norris, 5:28 to go, 3-2 Outlaws. Hard stop made by number 80, Cavalinas. Beaumont continued pressure in their own zone. Now it's Foregrave. All alone, 1-on-2, back to the play, takes it to the corner, stapled to the boards for a second, pushed aside as it's taken out by Rockyview. 21, Trimble, hands to Johnston. Johnston hands back, Janicek, Tisdale now. Back to Johnson. Johnston, cross floor. Couldn't maintain for a second was Janicek. He gets it back. Recovery thrown through the screen. Block. Trimble. Outlaws back up the floor. Baldock turning away from Stierman. Simonson has it. Works it to the near wall. Sandberg works it to the other side. Passes it through. Luke Royer, top of the zone, body's thrown in front. Quick chance, left side. Good save, Wells. Pressure's relieved as it's bounced out by the Knights. Maintaining that one is Sevior. Sevior with the purple shoes gets it away. Tried to get it to McRae. High bouncer into the hands of Bowman. So Bowman, against the grain, turns it around his own net. Fast feed to the hands of 73 McCann. McCann lays it out to Rye. Simonson has a lane, takes a shot, shoulder save. Wells. So it's battle to back up the floor. Gorst for the Knights, getting it back, but Nielsen with breakout pass to the hands of Foregrave. Foregrave, far wall, Rye. Your wall stutter step maneuver. Joseph Royer Back to Sebastian Simonson. Simonson wheels around the zone, finds a lane, and hits the back of the net. 4-2. Outlaws. Simonson with his second of the game, I believe. Getting them back up on the board. What a marker from him. Good passing plays by the Outlaws. They've seen that the entire period. 3:03 left to go in this first frame. But they've worked hard in the offensive zone. That line generating opportunities by just making the defenders try and come out and chase the ball carrier. And quick feet from Simonson with the seeing eye shot near the dotted line. 4-2, doubled up now are the Outlaws. 3-goal run from them, actually. So Nielsen's the one to take it as it's muddled up in the zone. Hard hit, thrown down. Running Rabbit loses his helmet. Nielsen making sure he's okay. Heavy collision. He got up, no problem. Heads back to the bench. Helmet in hand. Play continues. Knights maintain. Heavy shot from Johnston. Third of the game, getting the hat trick in the first period. All 3 goals from Rockyview off the stick of number 78. Now he has 17 goals, well positioned, the top of that point category here in the Senior B division. So another quick response from the Knights. Was the Outlaws opening up the scoring quite early in the contest. Just 8 seconds later, straight off the face-off, Knights getting the rush. That was the first marker from Johnston, but 4-3, nearly 2:15 to go. So Knights looking for some more. Couldn't get the pass from in front, though they hold possession. It's Norris evading some pressure, gets it into the middle. Not being able to hold that is Janicek. Quick shot on Cavalinas. Holds. Gets it up to Burgundy. Burgundy to Walker, who hands it off Forgrave. Walker off for the change. Coming off in place of him is Dalen Rye. So now 94 Sandberg. Tried to work it up. Perhaps a rush here from Steigerman. Steigerman partial break. Hits the brakes on his own. Waits up for some reinforcements. The one hop to the hands of Tisdale. Tisdale jogging up the right side. Doesn't see a lane for a pass. Ends up handing it off to Norris, who gets it to Tanner Park. Number 4, swinging through number 8. McRae, another chance. Didn't hit the cage. Shot clock dies out. Beaumont to take hold of the ball. Dalen Rye over the midway point. Just 1 minute to go here in the first period. That's Luke Royer maintaining the ball. Simonson trying to fish it through, find a way to force that one in. It's no good. Near side battle commences. Each team trying to pick the ball out from the ground. The battle is won by the Knights. Gorst on the left-hand side controls. He cut through the defender on the outside with the wall play. Trimble hands it off. Chance here behind the back. Johnston. Play thrown towards the net. Just 5 seconds to go. High bouncer to the middle. Forgrave, perhaps a chance, but it's no good. Royer couldn't pick it up. He was unsatisfied with his collection of that ball, smacking his stick down to the ground. But 20 minutes of action between the Beaumont Outlaws and the Rockyview Knights has Beaumont up by 1, 4-3 as the score. Shots in favor of Beaumont, 13-8. But we will take a brief intermission here on CROW LAX TV. Thank you so much for joining us here today. We'll be back in just 10 minutes to resume second period action in the Senior B matchup. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome back to the Ken Nickel Arena here on CROW LAX TV. It's a Senior B matchup between the Beaumont Outlaws as they host the Rockyview Knights. After 20 minutes, the Outlaws are up 4-3 here in the contest. They open up the scoring 1-0 before just 8 seconds later it was tied at 1-1. James Johnston scoring, and he has all 3 goals, a hat trick in that first period for the Knights. 17 goals in the campaign in the early going, and I'd like to point out the shot percentages here. 8 shots the Knights have, 3 goals, and for the Outlaws, 17 shots against, 4 goals there. So high percentage for the Knights. They get a rush right here from second period face-off. Good denial by Cavalinas. Now a chance here from Royer. He fakes him out and goes over top of the shoulder, finding the back of the net. 17 seconds into the second period. Joseph Royer extending the lead to 2 goals, going over top of Carson Wells' shoulder. So a good strike back from the Outlaws. A great rush by the Knights, and they've generated a lot of their opportunities in that first period from the rush. So face off once again, 5-3. Now here, the Outlaws trying to create something again. Royer with a chance. He made the play while falling down. Not sure if his foot was in the crease. A high arching pass made out of the zone hits some of the faculties and systems up in the top of the ceiling here at the Ken Nickel Arena in Beaumont, just south of Edmonton. Of course, the capital here of Alberta. So a couple quick passing plays from the Outlaws. They've done a lot of great maneuvers. Quick one behind the net, back in front, just missing wide is Dalen Rye, and they've done a good work, the Outlaws, to try and force the Knights to move out to the ball carrier. Another example there here, trying to capitalize once again. So Johnson trying to create more chances for his crew. Another shot thrown on and stopped. McRae's chance stopped by Cavalinas, who tries to make the play out, gets turned over. Great chance and a better stop. Cavalinas, what an opportunity there by the Knights, and good recovery. Cavalinas turning it over, standing on his head to make the save, keeping it 5-3 in the early going here in the second. Royer. Joseph Royer handing it off. It's to the hands of Forgrave. Can't see a lane, turns away, gets a chance right on, held into the crest of Wells. Play resumes here. It's the Knights bringing it back up the floor. Middle pass, bounce off the floor to Trimble. Trimble taken to the wall, 72, forcing him out, or 73, McCann, my apologies. They're bouncing play off the floor, and maybe a break here. But pass is turned over. Norris had that stripped away from him. It was Simonson streaking up the zone, waiting for that pass, but the denial by the Knights denies that chance from even occurring. Dewart getting the shot on the cage from off the pass from Rye. Now it's number 25, Nick Page, handing off for Tanner Park. Tanner Park, left side, behind the back plate, right in front of the net. Good opportunity there by the Knights. 17 now with it, Janasek. Park, top of the dotted line, rips it off the shoulder. Cavalinas. Another stop. Park going to work here with McRae and company. Johnston back to the top of the zone. Trying to make a play is Cook. That he does. Denial by Cavalinas. So quick pass made to Baldock. Baldock pushed back over the line, one hand scoops it, giving up possession to the Knights. Number 7, Jacob Berg with hold of the ball. Norris takes over from him. Norris faking out to the middle, has that sticked away from him, scooped out. Forgrave trying to race after that pocket pick, and it's taken by Burgundy. Burgundy forced up to the top of the zone, back to Simonson, who gets it over to Forgrave, and thrown down in front is Sandberg. Shot swung through, and now a breakaway, possible breakaway opportunity. Stegerman, quick shot through cross body, bobbled the chance there, but was still able to get it on the net. Could have had a full break all alone, but still creating the opportunity, though it couldn't hit the net. Norris taking a couple whacks at it with his stick. Green takes over. Beaumont, hard shot through. Green getting his name on the score sheet, doubling up. The Knights 6-3. Beaumont leads 55 with the marker. Liam McCann to take the face off the center of the floor. Can't see who his opposition is. Looks like 14 Skylar Running Rabbit will dig in on the face off. Hard fought battle here. Is not even an inch turned from the center circle. Finally, it's fished out. Far side wall. DDD pass to Berg. They work it up in transition, get it to the hands of Johnston. Johnston all the way across floor. Back in front, 43 being denied. Cook trying to get past Cavalinas. 14:35 to go. 6-3 Beaumont. 2 goals in the period. Entering the period 4-3. The lead. So Tisdale. Handoff, possible 2-on-1 opportunity here. Now 55, Green hands it back, gets it back on the pass. Couldn't get it over the shoulder of Wells. Didn't like the angle they saw. It was Burgundy now. Still continues to work. 14 to go in this middle frame. Not many stoppages at all. No penalties yet in the period. So now, waiting up are the Knights. Getting up to Berg while falling down. Takes a hit. Now, for the Outlaws, McCann. McCann hands it off, cuts towards the net. Turned back over momentarily. Picked back up, held on by the Knights. High pass out. Berg with it. Jacob Berg into the waiting grasp of 17. Janasek gets it again. Fires through. Shot blocked in front. Now another try. Johnston deflected out of the zone. Exactly 13 minutes of play remaining in the middle frame. 6-3 the score for the Outlaws. Looks like the Outlaws penalty bench is open, and walking into the sin bin is Chase Bowman. So man up advantage for the Knights here in the second. First penalty taken from either side here in this middle frame specifically. A few penalties in that first period. Johnston was the one to start it up. He gets it back. Hands it off to Janasek. Janasek back to Johnston. Janasek takes it back. Hard pass to the corner. Bounces off the wall. Comes back up. And it's Janasek again. trying to make a quick slingshot kind of pass back and forth to create the opportunity. Almost lost possession for a second. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Johnston throws it right off the crest of number 80, Scott Cavalinas. And the shot percentage dwindling now. Cavalinas is starting to stop a little bit more shots in towards his cage, and another penalty handed to the Outlaws. So will be a 5-on-3. Number 9 for the Outlaws, Needham, into the box. Fast passing plays, great shoulder save, denial on Tisdale, Cavalinas. So he looks out, makes a high pass all the way down the zone, ends up to the hands of Joseph Royer, who has one in this period. He rags it along the wall, it's taken out for a moment. Shimmies through the zone, high flip pass gets by Dewart. It's the Knights to start up once again. Trimble to the hands of Johnston. They bobble it, drop it for a second, though. They hold the ball. Tisdale now cuts out to the right side in that shooter position. Chance here, Trimble misses it from the head of his stick, and it's whacked out by Morris, who tries to go to work on the defensive end. 5-on-3 continues. A man at middle, Steigerman for the Knights, just in case they do give up possession on a hard bounce to keep the play in the zone. The pop fly comes to the waiting hands of Johnson. Johnson, quick feed across, hard. Chance thrown through by Trimble. But now it will be Dalen Rye challenging Steigerman on that right side. He gets past him and works his way back to the corner. Forgrave has that handed off to him. Some discussion here on the floor, but ragging it is Forgrave. 24 seconds left, 10-second differential. 10 seconds to go in the shot clock, but foot in the crease taken back over by the Knights. 12 seconds to go, 5-on-4. Swinging through 13, Norris couldn't get it on. Johnston trying to look through that left side. The save deflected, redirected into the protective netting. So Johnston takes over once again. Even strength here, and it almost pops out from the crease, but with the mesh, Cavalinas. Quick feed up by the Outlaws, trying to find the back of the net is Liam McCann. Just barely missing as he works back up the zone, up on recovery. And with some assistance, he's able to pick the pocket of the Knights defender, Running Rabbit. Joseph Royer. Over to Rye. So Rye with it to Royer. Joseph Royer, quick move, tight in front. Working it back up are the Knights. Bounce off the floor, hits the protective netting, and with 9:28 to go, will be the media timeout. Not many stoppages in play, just those penalties taken by the Outlaws to really stop the play in this one. And I'd like to remind you that the Battle of the Border is back this September in Missoula, Montana. You can tour the beautiful University of Montana campus, learning all about the Grizz LAX program. Also, you can seek full ride scholarships that are available for Canadians, all while taking part in the annual North versus South Box Lacrosse tournament. Find out more details by following Battle of the Border LAX on Instagram. You could also find CROW LAX TV on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, X for updates, news, and everything you need to know about the contest. Here we have 5 live games being covered here on our YouTube, free of charge. The Alberta Series Lacrosse, it's the Miners at in Fort Sask against the Rebels. The 2-2 matchup, the Crew against the Titans. That one was a bit earlier in the day. And underway, I'd assume still the Rampage Rebels, while the Warriors and Silver Tips battled as well. So the Outlaws from the media timeout up 6-3, 9:17 to go. It's Joseph Royer finding his man. That's Sandberg. They work it in behind the net, back over top of the cage, trying to cut to the middle, cut down that angle, and the denial is there by Wells. So now scampering back up the zone is Holiday, number 93 in AP here in this game. Tanner Park gets it over left side. Norris, seen a lot of time in the second frame, and he's been out there a lot trying to create the offense for the Knights. Not a goal yet here in this period. Johnston getting swarmed by Outlaws defender. Hard chance through, but that does not count, as it was at the expiration of the shot clock, or just over. Running up the zone is Needham. Dalen Rye. Joseph Royer up across. Simonson back to Rye. Up to Forgrave. Toe drag move on the inside. Fires one hard. Wells holds on. Gorst skips his way through the offensive zone, hands it back. Play from the corner to Cook, bobbles up. Sevior trying to catch that. It's smacked down, worked up in front of the Knights bench. Hard tumble by 11 there in Gorst. Finds hold of the ball, pick off by Forgrave, and now he works it back up the zone with some speed on that right side. Makes a play over to McCann, who just misses the net. Possession handed to the Knights, 7:33 to go and counting down. Jared Norris takes a shot, doesn't like what he sees, gets pulled back by Bernady. Swings around the zone. Norris right into the waiting grasp of Cavalinas. So now taking charge and hold of that was Walker. Couldn't walk it over the line in time. 8 seconds expired, so Knights taking grasp. Norris, low shot in towards the net. Bounce off the floor, hits the crossbar, pops back out. No goal. 6-3, the score remains. You're from the Ken Nickel Arena. Thank you so much for your viewership here on CROW LAX TV. We have multiple games throughout the entire Rocky Mountain Lacrosse League season. My name's Zachary Kubish. Pleased to be joining you here on the ride in this Senior B matchup. It's been some exciting action so far. Close contests of full time. The Knights with some momentum throughout this second period of action here, though they have no marker up on the board. The only goals coming in this period are from the Outlaws, and that happened in the first 10 minutes of the frame, but just a near miss by the Knights in that last shift. Slowing things down. McCann to the hands of Simonson. Hands it to Joseph Royer, who gets it to Rye on that left side. He cuts to the middle, off the right shoulder, gets his own rebound, trying to make the play across. And it's in the back of the net. Forgrave making it 7-3 for the Outlaws. So that's a pair of goals for Forgrave. Number 88 getting back up on the board. The Outlaws with all of the scoring this period, about a 4-goal run for them. Running Rabbit gets set to take the draw against Simonson from Beaumont. They dig in, and that was Needham, not Simonson. Number 9, not number 8, though they do look similar in those Outlaws tarps. Copper and blue, very reminiscent of the old-timey Oilers. And what a rush by James Johnston, putting the team on his back with his 4th goal of the game. What a charge from him. All of the goals for the Knights, coming off the stick of number 78. So 4 goals in the game, 18 on that one. What a wheel around the zone. He turned on the afterburners and was cooking up in the kitchen. Cavalinas with the quick hands. Ball on a string with that play. What a skilled maneuver from him. So the story 7-4, 5:35 to go here in the second. Knights with some great opportunities here in this frame as well as they continue to try and forge something up in the offensive zone. Norris trying to push his man back. McCann evading the pressure. Could have taken the fast step up, but holds up. Waits for Forgrave, who has a pair in the game. Most recent goal for the Outlaws, but the quick answer back by Johnston of the Knights. Now it rolls out to Steigerman almost for a moment. High bounce collected to the waiting hands of Simonson. Forgrave, 88. Gets it over, back to his hands and trying to feed it down low on the right side, bouncing off the floor. Whips by an eyelash past the net. So waiting with it is Trimble. Charges, drops a shoulder, trying to go over top. Up high over Cavalinas, might have bounced off the floor in front of the crease. Good charging rush from him. A lot of the Knights' chances throughout the game coming on sort of rushes like that where they get it in front of the net, but Johnson cutting towards the net by himself. Perhaps a foot in the crease. Near miss from him. But it's Beaumont with control in the offensive zone. 4:05 to go, 7-4. Outlaws with charge of the lead. Forgrave to the hands of Rye. Near miss on that left side, trying to get that slingshot off the quick pass. Simonson now rips it off the corner post. Not sure if that went off the crossbar and the post or just the corner, but it did rip off a bar. You could see the vibration in the net even from up here. We sit in the bleachers here in the Ken Nickel Arena. It's Norris, the one hop there, and maybe a quick chance, hard rush here. Green with the quick step. Green out to the perimeter. He has a goal in the game. A similar play to that as well, just getting up in transition. He hands it off to Forgrave. Ethan Forgrave all the way across to Rye. Low bouncer comes up high. Into the hands of number 2, Steigerman. Gorst goes off for the change as he hands that off. Dale is the one with it now. Janasek hands it off. Johnston trying to step in. Might have rang off the bar. Net shaking once again. So that did hit the post. 2 posts for the Knights, or a crossbar and perhaps a post. That one was too quick. I blinked and missed it. Johnston's got such a heavy cannon of a release. Far side, Walt Trimble trying to mosey his way past the defender. Hops up. Sandberg's the one with it. Now McCann will gallop up the zone. He turns on the burners, trying to throw one through. Cannot. Now a chance once again. Sandberg, and on the doorstep, the denial from number 1, Carson Wells. Berg is the man with the ball. Hits the brakes. Gets it to Norris. Norris out to the perimeter, has some assistance to try and find some empty space. Works with the quick feet, thrown through 17. Janasek pops back up, and because it might have deflected off an Outlaw stick, they didn't get the over and back. Did get the shot off, so they continue. No stoppage in play. Hard fought. Back out to the middle. Whistle blown down. Possession handed to the Knights. 1:25 to go here in the second. 7-4. They're down by 3 is Rockyview. 3-3 on the season. They're second in penalty minutes as well, 113 entering the game. Not many penalty opportunities given up, or power play opportunities, I should say, for the Outlaws. 1:05 to go. It will be Outlaws ball as time continues to tick down. 65 seconds to go. Shots are 31-24 in favor of Beaumont. Shot percentage was much higher entering this period for the Knights. They have the majority of chances here in this frame, probably double the amount of shot opportunities and shots on goal. They entered the period with 8 shots against with 3 goals, so almost 50% shot percentage. 45.6 to go now. Quickly, the Outlaws up the right side, cut to the middle. Simonson wrists it towards the net with the hop up. Running Rabbit trying to get through, though it's Sandberg, or Bowman. That is Sandberg, and then timeout, I believe, is called. So the Outlaws take a timeout. 25.1 seconds left. Not sure how much they'll have on the shot clock once the play resumes, but it's been a tighter period in this one. Not that it wasn't tight before, but main sources control has been on the right side of the screen as it's the Knights charging down for the Outlaws. 4 goals for Johnston. The only 4 goals for the Knights as he's been conquering the back of the net and helping his team stay in the game. But in that first period, you could see that the Knights could have the quick step to strike back like a cobra, though the Outlaws took control in the game on the scoreboard. But the Outlaws not being able to generate as many opportunities as they did in the first period with the passing plays cycling around the zone. It's been mainly the Knights here in this one. But with the empty net, 6-on-5, 22 seconds and counting, 7-second differential, or near that in the shot clock. The Outlaws control and will wait up to get one last opportunity here on the net. Quick pass through, right, trying to one-time it there. Play is blown dead, and a play thrown all the way down, but squeaks by the net. However, if it did go in, the period was already over. What thrilling action towards the end of that period there. It's 7-4 for the Outlaws entering the third period of play. We will be back here on CROW LAX in just a moment. And we're back, just 20 minutes of action to go in the Senior B matchup. It's the Beaumont Outlaws taking on the Rockyview Knights. It's a 7-4 game right now. The first period was really the Outlaws in control, and they got 3 out of 4 of the goals in that second period. And the biggest story in the game is James Johnston of the Knights with all 4 goals, handling the offensive chances for the Knights. 18 goals on the season, well in first place. Just 20 minutes of action to go here on CROW LAX. Thank you so much for tuning in here on our YouTube stream. And a quick chance right off the faceoff. Luke Royer makes a move, can't hit the net. That goes wide. It pops out to Rye. Now into the hands of Berg. And showing his frustration was Luke Royer. Bit of yelling from the floor. Some unsavory things perhaps. Simonson, the high pass, the far wall. Fake pass, it does end up across the floor. Sandberg weaves his way to the middle, takes the shot, bounces off the back wall into the protective netting. 24 seconds and counting down on the shot clock. Outlaws regain, but it will be reset. So fresh 30. Back across, Simonson, and this is what they did so well in that first period. Not many chances like this here for the Outlaws. Sustained pressure in the offensive end, but early in this frame, they're starting to get to work once again, pressuring the Knights. That's where they did best. They pulled out the defenders, and they get a clean shot there. It's Wells holding on from the shot off of Simonson's stick. So now the man on fire, Johnston. Backhand flip pass, evades his man. Trimble, and quick step from McCann. Seems to be an all alone off the crossbar. 4th bar of the game. 2 crossbars in the game, and that's second, and another post as well. Second post in the game for the Outlaws, so each side has a couple bars that hit inches off, hitting the back of the net. It stays 7-4, which is about 2 minutes into the third period here. Forgrave returns the pass, rips it from the shoulder, hops off the top of the crease in the hands of Wells. So Wells is the one to flip it out from the mesh of his stick. Tisdale on the right side. Far wall, waits up, surveys the area, finds the open man, tries to swing the shot in towards the cage. It comes back out to Tisdale. Tisdale to Norris, who's pressured up on the line from 66, Nielsen. Nielsen still tracking him, though it's thrown right on in the dying seconds. Now another chance there. They did hit the net, so Cavalinas has to be sharp once again, but now it is Burgundy tracking up the floor. He's traced there by Tisdale, is able to make the play now down behind the net. It's Sandberg. Simonson works it around the zone. It's Joseph Royer, who has a goal in the game, trying to find his second. And he's seen some grade A chances from the near part in front of that bench once again. So the ref blowed down the play just to check the stick of Wells to make sure it was all good. He needed some helmet repairs in that first period. Seemed to have taken forever with a couple long stoppages, plus the media timeout. But it is the Knights swooping through. Is Johnston in all alone? And it's pinched right near the line. Is it in? Is it out? We don't know. Cavalinas, and they will not mark that one a goal. Needham striding his way up through the zone to Rye. Rye all the way to cross Sandberg. Sandberg trying to skip towards the middle of the floor, hands that back to Forgrave, top of the zone. Or no, Forgrave has it. Forgrave backhand move, turned his back towards the play, forced the pass like he had eyes on the back of his head. Nifty try there, but nothing from it. Running Rabbit with the handoff to Tisdale. Tisdale, one hop to the hands of Janasek. Janasek to Tanner Park. Tisdale back to Norris. Norris all the way through. McCann might have a partial break here. McCann missed the scoop for a moment. Didn't get a chance right on the net. Probably want that one back. 7-4 is the score. And now he's tripped up on the play. Takes the spill. Sauntering up to the offensive end is Tisdale. Tisdale to the right side of him. Spinning around. That one is McRae. Couldn't get the shot through. Held possession with the handoff to Norris. Top of the zone. Johnson, 78. Johnston all the way across. Number 21, Trimble. Trimble to Johnston, trying to swing through that pass. Slingshotting that one. Couldn't do what he wanted on that play. Now it's Green with the quick feet. But a holding call will whistle down the play. So with 14:52 left in the third, it's an Outlaws minor. So maybe the Knights could find some life here. They did the last time that they had a power play chance. No power play goals for in the game, however. But they did have an abbreviated 5-on-3 in that second frame, and after they had that opportunity, they took charge in the offensive zone, though only generating one goal as opposed to blundering 3. So they'll spend some time passing around. Norris finding it through the bodies. Held into the waiting grasp. Cavalinas. So to the middle quickly. Forgrave sandwich for a second. Breaks his way through the defenders. Can't get around number 7, pesky Jacob Berg. Sandberg all the way down. Royer trying to get it on that short side. Joseph Royer continuing to hold the ball. Sevior is the one on the defense to hold on. So it's 5-on-4. It is a Knights power play, but ragging the ball is Joseph Royer. 1-on-2. He turns away from the pressure of Gorst and company. Hard shot. Right on by Tokar from that far side. 53 seconds and trailing down on the power play for the Knights as they get set back up in the offensive zone. It's Norris just at the top of the left side trying to work it through the middle as it's passed across. Johnston with the shot on the right side. Back through and getting it on the back door is Tisdale, cutting the deficit for the Knights down to just 2. With the power play marker, Isaac Tisdale finds some life for the Knights. So with 13:23 left to go in this third, the final frame in the contest. Wasn't some quick work, and they had to work pretty hard for the goal, but hard work does pay off. So now it's Green, 5-on-5. Play continues. 7-5, Knights trailing by 2, and the man with 4 goals in the contest, Johnston. Trying to make something happen again. Drops the shoulder, turns back. Trying to make it work once again in towards the net. Dribbles out of his stick. Face down in the crease. Ref's hand is up. It will be a holding call, I believe, against the Outlaws. Johnston so lethal on the start and stop. And the Outlaws bench is open, so another 2-minute minor given to the Knights. And the Outlaws were, well, they still are leading in shots, but they're leading by much more. Quick floor wipe before we continue action. But Beaumont was leading in shots by quite a large margin after that first period. Now it is just a 4-shot differential, 39-35 in favor of the Outlaws. 12:54 to go, 2 minutes. Put on the board, 5-on-4, man up for the Knights. And Johnston, who drew the penalty, 4 goals in the contest, will be the one to take the ball once we resume play. But Johnston, going back to him, he is so lethal on that start and stop. He seems to make something out of nothing, finding those open spaces, and defenders tend to find themselves magnetizing towards him, and he just spins around and has created some chances, 3 or 4 in the game, just by doing that, spinning on the 360 and cutting in, and that's how he drew the penalty, where we are now. Shot finally thrown through, number 17, Janasek. Ran up the wall quickly, back to Janasek. Janasek down lower, cross crease play. It's no good. That's how they capitalize on the most recent power play marker just a couple minutes ago. Janasek swinging one through once again. That's the 3rd or 4th shot opportunity. Quickly, with still 1 minute and 20 seconds left to go in the power play. Low shot, trying to squeak it through under the right armpit. Shot was on. They will keep possession. Rockyview. Number 8, Wallace. McRae to be the one to start with the ball. Tisdale working it up the zone to Johnson. Janasek there as well. Janasek with Gorst. Gorst on the left side of the net. Janasek changing spots as Johnston, his teammate there in front, will be taken by the Outlaws. Steven Nielsen with the bounce pass up to Simonson. In all alone, Simonson scores! So shorthanded marker making the change off the bench wasn't picked up by the Knights in transition. And it's Sebastian Simonson, at least with a pair of goals, perhaps 2 or 3 on the day. Regardless, very impactful on the offensive side of things here for the Outlaws, regaining a 3-goal advantage in the game, 8-5 over 11:30 left to go. Simonson on the shorthand, still some power play minutes or seconds here for the Knights. They continue to work it around. They got their 2nd unit out there. Tanner Park on that left side, worked up the top. Norris had the look, but couldn't get it through on the cage, and now Beaumont will make a quick change. 17 seconds left in the penalty. For the Outlaws. Morris will be stepping out of the box in mere seconds. 5-on-5 play continues. He's out of the sin bin. Quick pass to Janasek. Janasek challenged by Nielsen. Couldn't get the clean shot through, and a low pass grounded out from the crease to Sandberg. And it gets cleared all the way down the floor. Hits the protective netting. Near side corner into the hands now of Berg, who's the one to start it up for Johnston. Johnston maintains the ball. Janasek trying to find something through all the bodies from the Outlaws. High stick to the face of Tisdale. He'll work his way out. Low shot through, doesn't hit the ceiling, bounces out, but will come out on that far side wall where you see all the provincial championship banners here in Beaumont at the Ken Nickel Arena. Far corner. all the way across. Now to Forgrave. Forgrave, low shot. That one stopped by Wells. Joseph Royer is the man holding the ball. Royer trying to find something. Forgrave on the inside, outside, shoots it through. Off the wall, it will bounce all the way back to the zone. No over and back. They'll have to play it quickly. Now they're not sure. The Outlaws aren't sure what to do with it. Simonson will get over in time. Had to make a quick decision there, and a quick inside step from Royer. He's almost dragged down. Keeps balance. Simonson scores! Snipes it from the top of the dotted line. If he didn't have 3 in the game before, now he does. So 2 players with hat tricks in the game, but it is a 9-5 score for the Outlaws, and they are generating on those chances that they end up getting in front. Simonson with the lethal shot at the top of the zone, but they have many players that can work it around with great passing plays, and they capitalize once again on their skillful offensive pressure as they continue to try and deliver something, maybe looking for double digits on the scoreboard, though. With under 9 to go, they will wait up. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Top of the zone, Forgrave down to Sandberg, now in behind the net. Forgrave has it, trying to swing the shot through, had to force it through a body. Forgrave loses his stick. It's brought back up by Rye. So Rye, shot clock renewed, 22 seconds left in that marker. 20 and trailing now, Forgrave. Comes to a stroll, sends it to Ray. Gets it back and completely hits the top shelf, right where Grandma keeps those cookies, doubling up on the Knights. 10-5. Forgrave. So the floodgates starting to open. The largest lead for either side in the contest. Was tight those first 40 minutes, but it's mainly, besides one, it's been all for the Outlaws. 3 goals for them. 1 on the shorthand by Simonson, who scored the most recent goal to this one, just scored moments ago. And it will be immediate timeout. 8:13 remaining here in the game. And I'd like to remind you that the Battle of the Border is back this September in Missoula, Montana. You can tour the beautiful University of Montana campus, learning about the Grizz LAX program and full ride scholarships that are available for Canadians, all while taking part in the annual North versus South Box Lacrosse tournament. Find out more details by visiting Battle of the Border LAX on Instagram. Make sure to follow us here at CROW LAX on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and of course YouTube here. Turn notifications on if you haven't already to get notified anytime we go live. There's 5 streams here on this beautiful Sunday throughout the Rocky Mountain Lacrosse League here. Of course, tons of coverage for these Beaumont Outlaws, who are up 10-5. My name's Zachary Kubish. Pleased to be joining you here in the game. The play-by-play call on the mic. So it's the Knights trying to strike back, and now a possible chance here. McCann coming in all alone, but on the backtrack, Johnson might have got a stick up there. Looking up to the ceiling is number 73, McCann, with that chance. Liam not too happy with what he got off towards the net there. However, still up by 5. Trimble defers to Cook. Janicek trying to cut in as Cook wallops back. Low shot swung through by Norris. And the refs blow down play, needing a wipe. So the Outlaws, with 3 goals in the period, have now by far taken lead in the shot clock category. They were leading by 4 They're up 39-35 at one point in this period. Now up 46-38. And the next games for these two teams are back against one another once again on the 15th, however, at the Pete King Arena. Entering the game, the Outlaws 2-3 on the season. All 3 losses to the Miners, who are a complete powerhouse here in the Senior B division. The last 3 games for the Outlaws saw them on May 31st with a 20-8 win over the Rebels. They followed that one up with another win on the 1st, 12-4 against the Mounties, losing yesterday 9-6 to the Miners in a close, hard-fought battle, but some undisciplined play gave up the game for them. 3-3 are the Knights. We continue action here, and still some time to get back in this game. 7:20 to go. It's Johnston with another try there. He has seen a lot of chances from that same exact spot for the Outlaws, or sorry, for the Knights against the Outlaws there. Not much adjustment in that sort of drive for number 78. They're opposing Johnston. And it is Beaumont with it in the copper and blue. Very Oilers-esque. Foregrave firing on number 88. Possession turned back over. So swinging out from behind his net is Jake Steigerman. Handing off to McRae. Low bounce into the hands of Cook. Cook with the drive. Held on by number 80, Scott Cavalinas. 47, Rye. 27, Luke Royer. Back up around the way. It's Tokar across Simonson. Now Sandberg with Tokar stretching out to take and receive the pass. Bounces out. 5 seconds in the shot clock as they have to rally back. They do throw it on the goaltender, number 1, Carson Wells, but it will be Rockyview draped in the white with the red accents and a bit of yellow trim, working it back up. Handoff, quick spinning play, low shot, nifty move by Norris to get one in towards the net. Norris holding once back again. Johnston on the inside or outside move, trying to work on the inside. Low shot swung by Tisdale. That one's no good. 5:30 to go here in the third period. 10-5 is the score for the Outlaws. And from their own zone, Knights to start back up. Long pass to Johnston. Cut on the inside and takes a fall in the crease. And he takes a moment to get up, but seems to be all right. Another wipe needed down on the floor. That honestly, as heavy as the hits are in lacrosse and as physical as the game is, having a spill out on the floor could be devastating completely because you're not even prepared for the hit. And sure, I guess there are hits against that you might not see sometimes, but making sure that it's dry out on the floor helps everybody because you could miss the wet spot and slip like a bit of a banana peel, but we're getting that sorted out. It's trainer Nicole Johnston out there in the crease. Cavalinas making 35 of 40 shots here in the game, and his opposing netminder 37 of 47 in the contest. So in that first period, it was a high shot percentage on either side. 8 shots for the Knights with 3 goals exiting that first frame. It was 4-3. So it dribbles through the crease. Falling back was Wells. It stays out of the net. He works it up from the top of his crease. Right side cut to the middle, evading pressure. Called back. Holiday wasn't quick enough to get over the zone, and now it's back in the zone. It's Nielsen. Rye was up on that left side awaiting a possible pass as an option there for his teammate. He does receive the pass now. Tokar spinning from the middle, trying to be the open man on the bumper. No good. It comes off the shoulder out in front with the screen. And now back up the other way, Stegerman. So Stegerman has his man Nick Page working in towards the net. Stegerman works his way out, finds a quick step, gets the shot through just over top and wide of the net. So now with the blue shoes, McCann gets it over to Forgrave, tosses that one through. Might have been caught in the pad of Wells for a moment. Worked quickly back up the floor to Tisdale. 4:13 to go in the contest. Knights down by 5, trying to work back in the game. Still some time, plenty of it actually, to try and find some markers. Cook is the one with it on the left side. Cuts to the middle. Hard, heavy shot through off the pad up into the netting. Knights maintaining possession with number 4, Tanner Park. Bringing it up. Stutter step. Swings back on the back pedal. He's forced to trail back once again. Delayed penalty. Extra man out. 6-on-5. Ripped on Norris. The extra man out is Trimble. So Trimble cuts in towards the net, in all alone in front of the crease, trying to make that screen. Now gets a chance, and he scores! And it will be called back. He celebrated for a moment. Still thinks it might be a goal, but I think the foot was in the crease, so that will be called back. Another wipe down there. So it's a cross-checking call to number 25, Josh Cheremy. 3:32 left to go. And with the delayed penalty, Carson Trimble thought he found the back of the net and cut the deficit down to just 4, but still some time to work. There's some hard work to do for the Knights if they want to try and come back with one final siege against the Outlaws, who have a few gunslingers of their own. Simonson with a hat trick. On the other side, the shooter and the finesse from Johnston potted 4 goals. Play resumes with Johnston. 5-on-4 power play. Tisdale, Johnston, Janasek as well. Johnston to Janasek. Attempts to feed that through. Nielsen works it up, gets his stick thrown away from him, so he rumbles down the zone. Eventually ends up turning back to pick up his stick. 17, Janasek. Down on that left side, shooter position, Trimble. Top of the zone, Johnston, weird hop, weird bounce. Still held out. Johnston swiping one through and now back the other way. Dalen Rye, 2-on-1 opportunity with McCann. Feeds it through. McCann with the chance and dribbles by. Did get it on the net. So now play handed over to the Knights. Quick, fast pass up to McRae. Cannot handle that. Nielsen, strong body, protects. Hands it up to Baldock. Baldock, 2:25 to go. 53 seconds left in the penalty to Cheremy. And ragging all by himself. 1-on-3 is Baldock. Thrown heavily to the floor, but some much appreciated work. Cheers from the Beaumont bench. As Baldock dug in deep in the mud and got dirty to kill some time on the power play. So it is 13 Norris feeding it through. Number 43 Cook back to Johnson. Swipe through, low shot. Forked on and a high pass all the way out to Forgrave off the bench. Can't reel that one in, but he will rag some time. 1:45 to go. Will be even strength in just about 10 seconds. Cheremy to step out of the box. 5-on-4 power play for the Knights. Not much generated at all. as it looks like they will take the loss on the game and just roll down slowly. Joseph Royer as Wells comes from his crease, bounces the play or the pass out to Page from the hands of McRae on the right side. Stopping up, Stutter steps back, grounder out to Tisdale. Tisdale through to McRae. McRae might have a chance as he slips down, diving with the forward play, belly down, tried to get the shot through off the left side. Bops up off the backboard, couple bodies swing down in front, shot thrown by Norris. Spinning play evading Needham was Norris. Trimble under a minute to go, now back to Tisdale, who finds the back of the net. So play clock still dying down. The refs did see that. 4 goals. Just about 40 seconds needed for the Knights to tie this up. Some discussion between the Knights bench and the referees to try and reset the clock. That they will. But Isaac Tisdale, the one to find the back of the net. 10-6 the score. They will have 48 seconds up on the board. So 45 shots now for Rockyview. Face-off Running Rabbit against McCann. They've dueled a few times. Running Rabbit the man to grab it. And they will opt to put the extra man out with Wells coming out of his net. Extra man out on the crease, but it's held into the padding of Cavalinas. So Cavalinas will have a try to hold it. 38.5 seconds left to go. Wells back into the crease, and a timeout is called. And I'd like to remind you that the Battle of the Border is back this September in Missoula, Montana. Tour the beautiful University of Montana campus, learning all about the Grizz LAX program, and you can get full ride scholarships that are available for all Canadians while taking part in the annual North versus South Box Lacrosse Tournament. And if you're interested in that, you can find all the details by following Battle of the Border LAX on Instagram. CROW LAX TV is also on Instagram. We're also on X, TikTok, and Facebook. Wherever you can find us, we are there with updates and live, not completely live score updates of the game, but we will keep you updated after the contests are done. So if you can't watch a game or watch every single game that happens in a day or in a week, you can keep track of all the scores through our social media platforms. And not only other players seem to be ragging out the time in this game, but everyone, or for the Outlaws, they were ragging out the time. But another wipe needed right after the timeout called. And in the first period, it probably took 45 minutes to get through the action. There's some issues with the score clock machine here with some penalties, and then Wells's helmet needed some maintenance, but just 35 seconds to go. Outlaws taking possession. Simonson with the hat trick. Cross check from number 78, Johnston. Just like a rubber band, gets snapped down to the ground. Just about a 7 or 8 second differential in the shot clock. Foregrave with the charge towards the net. He gets the 11th goal for the Outlaws. So Foregrave perhaps with a deuce or maybe a trio of markers in the game. Just 15.7 seconds left to go. The next game for both of these teams are against one another. That will be the second of 3 meetings. This was the first, and it looks to be and will be going to the Outlaws. So they will improve to 3-3 while the Knights fall below 500 to a 3-4 campaign in the early going of this season. It's Running Rabbit, just about 10 seconds to go, maybe one last opportunity. McRae hands one towards the net, comes up to Nielsen, who will take it to the corner, swing it around the wall, and that will be the end of the game. But some extracurricular activities in front of the crease. After the game has ended, Nielsen stepping up. He takes a high stick to the face. McRae in there as well. Some action out in front. Pushing and shoving, but the referees are quick to be on it. Some bad blood boiling over this game. Maybe it'll carry over into the second meeting between these two clubs, but that was some great action from Ken Nickel Arena here in Beaumont today. 11-6 is the final score between the Outlaws and the Knights. Beaumont with the win here in the contest. The winning goaltender, Scott Cavallines. Carson Wells taking an L as they shake hands at the middle of the floor. My name's Zachary Kubish, and I just would like to personally thank you for watching here on CROW LAX TV. We broadcast tons of action throughout the week and throughout the entire season here in the Rocky Mountain Lacrosse League. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Share with anybody who you think would enjoy all the great contests that we have here. But I'm signing off for the day. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Take care for now.